Hi, I'm Drew with Stillwell Jacks, and today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to install our new tradesman jack onto this dump trailer. The number one priority is safety, so be sure that your wheels are properly chocked and you have a jack stand underneath the trailer to support the weight. Now when you order a complete kit from Stillwell Jacks, it comes with the 7,000-pound tradesman, a 6-port selector valve, 4 hoses, and the correct fittings to tie in to the existing power unit. First things first, we got to remove the existing jack. On this Big Tex 14LX dump trailer, they come with a port here for the hydraulic hoses and lines to be plumbed through. If your toolbox does not have this pre-drilled hole, you'll need to drill your own. On this Big Tex trailer, this toolbox comes pre-equipped with a mounting bracket for our 6-port selector valve. What we're going to do next is we're going to install the 6-port selector valve onto this existing bracket using a 3/8 inch by 2-inch bolts. After you install your 6-port selector valve, take out your port plugs. So now I have installed the selector valve and I've removed the port plugs. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start installing the fittings into the selector valve. Now because of the compacted space we have here, we're going to need to remove the 2 bolts that hold this pump in place that are held underneath the toolbox. Once you remove those 2 screws, you move the pump reservoir aside, so now you have plenty of access to get your fittings in. Now when you're installing your fittings into the selector valve, be sure to remember that the side of the fitting that has the O-ring gasket always goes into the selector valve, and the side of the fitting that has the beveled end always goes into the hose. The next step is we're going to remove the hoses that come off of your existing power unit that go to the dump hoist. I'm going to take off the extend port first. I remove the hoses off of the pump and I installed them onto the selector valve. I took off the extension port hose and I put it on the top inside on the selector valve. I removed the retraction port and I put it on the bottom inside of the selector valve. Now I'm going to install the extension port on the selector valve, which will be the top center, and I'm going to put that down to the extension port on the power unit. Now in your kit, you'll have one shorter hose. That goes from the retraction port on your pump to the lower port on the selector valve. Now that we have the hoist plumbed into the selector valve, we're going to install the jack. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your port plugs out and you're going to want to take the pins out of the foot, and we'll slide this through so that your cylinder can drop out, and then you will drop it in just like that. Now I'm going to install the hoses from the jack to the selector valve. I'm going to start with the lower port, which is the retraction port on the jack, and I'm going to install it to the lower fitting here on the selector valve. The next hose, which goes from the top port, which is the extend port, to the top outside port on the selector valve. Now that we have our hoses installed and tightened up, the last thing we got to do is tighten up our bolts on the jack. Now I'm going to reinstall the foot pad. Now that everything's completed, we've ran the jack up and down. When you want to use the hoist for the dump hoist, you'll just pull this lever up. If you heard that noise, what that is that's the valve inside selecting to go to the hoist. As you can see, the hoist is going up and down. Push the selector valve back down. That's how simple it is. That's the benefit of using the Stillwell jack system. It's thought through, it's engineered and designed for the rugged use that the tradesman is designed for. You'll love it. Try it out. Check us out online at www.stillwelljacks.com.